Shagun, 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 shagun.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast. We're unnamed at the moment, a bit of a problem, but you're here with me, James.
And me, Cameron.
And of course, me.
And your name is?
Oh, I'm Ethan, but you know that.
Too right, they bloody do. We've got quite a lot on the agenda today, I think. Quite a lot of topics to look at. We've got I guess we'll start there with the. You were all sending us in some of your names for the podcast. And I believe Cameron has a few.
Oh, yes, I'll just have to look. Give me just a second.
Please don't read out the ones you read out earlier.
I'm not going to, don't you worry about that. Okay, so here we are. So basically, guys, I've gone through and I've looked through the best ones that you've sent in. And we're just going to have a brief look through the... this one's cool. We've got the Warwickshire Allied. We've got the Warwickshire segment.
Oh.
We've got...
Cameron, don't read out the worst entries. Read out some of the better entries.
Okay, I've just got
Cameron, what did we talk about earlier? Just read out the best entries.
Okay, so we've got the Wisdom Keenies.
The what?
The Wise Lamborghinis.
Oh. Please stop typing things into auto-generators, Cam.
Jeez, typed in Lamborghinis.
We've got the Keenies-oids.
Alright, that's enough suggestions from Cameron. He's clearly not reading the viewers' suggestions.
Yeah.
James, have you got any?
Oh, you've turned on to me. Hold on, let me just find the list. Must be around here somewhere. Alright. Okay, I've got I've got the list. Let me just put my reading glasses on so I can read it. Let me just find the first entry.
You have reading glasses, you fucking loser.
No, I don't have reading glasses. Okay, so I've got some of the entries here. I'll read them out.
Quick to deny that he had reading glasses.
Well, I'm not a nerd.
It's not a shameful thing, I don't think.
I'm not a nerd though.
Oh, I don't have glasses. I am not a nerd.
Yeah, he gets it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so the first entry is the Sprickly Dinkly Doodly Doos. Apologise, I'm not sure why I read that one.
I like that one. That's good.
I wasn't a huge
Sprinkly dinkly. Dinkery days.
Yeah. I've got another one here. Oh, I can't seem to read it.
Is your glasses not working?
Ethan, you said you had some.
Yeah, I've got a couple of my favourites picked out here. I've got the Megatheriums. For those of you which aren't as educated as some, Megatherium is actually a breed of giant ground sloth. So we've got the Cockfosters.
Is that again a giant sloth species?
That's just a name. Just a name. We've got the Andy Greys. We've got David Michaels Band.
Huh?
Maybe a moisturiser. AKA my wank loop.
What? It's a bit PG-13, but I guess we'll have to let it slide because we're live. So, I mean, if I'm being honest, overall the entries weren't great.
Guys, you have to step out next week.
Yeah, we'll postpone it for this week. Maybe not all of our listeners were listening last week. If you don't know, we're accepting entries for our new name for the podcast because we were getting a bit of.
Oh, sorry, just found another one I quite like.
Oh,
Benjamin Jemima Titlickers.
It's an interesting one. I mean, we'll put it in the maybe pile.
Well, maybe it's better than nothing.
Well, yes. So yeah, if you guys and gals, feel free to submit a few more. I will return to it at a later date. So I'm gonna do our usual and move over to Cameron for today's agenda.
Oh, just found another one.
Oh.
My batty crease is wet.
Doesn't sound like a podcast name. Sounds just like a statement. But,
I like it. It's a good name. A good suggestion. Let me just read out who sent that in. Williamsburg mass murderer 89.
What?
Thank you to the Williams mass murderer shooter 89.
And to all mass murderers, really.
Wow.
They're people
There's
too.
overpopulation is a problem, so in some ways you are helping.
Yeah, that's a very kind spin on it.
Positive.
I wouldn't have gone that route, I don't think, but
Wow.
well, yeah, you have. So back to Cameron
At
with
least
oh,
I would prefer they mass murdered people than if they mass murdered giant ground sloths. I think we can all agree on that.
seem to be a bit obsessed with the giant ground sloth.
Personal favourite of mine since I found out of its existence a mere 3 days ago.
3 days ago. And if you'd like to tweet us where you were 3 days ago, we'd love to talk about that sometime. Cameron, today's agenda.
So, what I've got for you today is something brilliant, amazing. What you're going to do is, I'm going to eat these Wotsits and you're going to listen. What's your favourite type of crisps? Tweets with the hashtag Americans are fat.
He's always pushing an agenda, isn't he?
We seem to like our agendas. And am I to believe that's all that's on today's agenda from you, Cameron?
Well, I might come back with something else, you never know.
No, I'm feeling lucky, or
Oh.
No, I can't do that this week, I'm afraid.
There's no lucky dip this
No,
time.
okay,
no lucky dip. There's no lucky dip. We seem to have a theme song for everything around here. Ethan, we'll move on to you. You got anything to talk about?
I do actually. Thank you for asking, James.
Right, you're welcome.
I'd just like to touch upon Portugal. The
Portugal.
radical drugs policy.
What the
Legalised all drugs and it's working.
the decriminalisation thing?
Decriminalised all drugs and the amount of overdoses, the amount of HIV infection and drug-related crime has decreased significantly.
Really?
Yes. You can search if you want. They decriminalised all drugs in 2001, and they've seen dramatic drops in all of the areas I just touched upon.
I mean, you're just reading out a headline from the guy.
Well, you know, I am reading out the headlines, but it's important information. I've read the whole article, but, you know, why don't you read it for yourself?
Well, I don't believe you've read the whole article because it's quite long. I think you're lying.
Well, you might have got me there. You might have got me there. Have you seen what Britain could learn from Portugal's drug policy? And then, I believe, a picture of Liam Gallagher is underneath this.
Okay, I'm not. I mean, you introduced the subject, then didn't really talk about it.
That's kind of all I knew about the subject. I just wanted to get it out there so people knew about it.
Well, I mean, when. Okay.
I think we can argue my subject was better than Cameron just fucking eating some watermelons.
I wouldn't set Cameron as the baseline. I'd set Cameron as firmly below the baseline. So.
Yeah, but I get listeners, Ethan. I get listeners.
Cameron, we're all on the same podcast.
Yeah, but they were listening to me more intently.
Ooh, okay.
What
Okay.
were you talking about?
I'd like to move on to. I'd like to talk about something. This is happening in Spain. A man chucked an old fridge down a hill and got his comeuppance. He was accompanied back to where he dumped the appliance and filmed as he drags it back up the side of the valley. So I think what we can learn from this is don't push your fridge down a hill. Keep it upright, preferably in your kitchen. Fill it with food, drinks, anything to keep the family happy. And while you're keeping the family happy, let's think about how we can reduce AIDS in society, because AIDS just brings everyone down. And while we're at it, let's celebrate the moon landing in style.
That reduced Portugal's HIV rate.
Okay, so.
Sorry, James. I think I made you lose your train of thought slightly there.
I wasn't going anywhere particularly.
That doesn't surprise me.
We seem to be struggling a bit. It's a bit of a slow news week.
Cameron.
There's not much we can do about that. But...
Cameron as well.
What?
I've said his full name. Probably shouldn't have said that.
Well, we've given his address out.
You've already given my address. I had 4 people come last week and knock on my door and say, can you stop putting your rubbish in our bins? It's bloody ridiculous.
Wow, another great tidbit.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that's concerning.
From Cameron. God. Can we bring back the nickname The Turd? I like that.
Yeah, because he is a bit of a turd.
Get it back.
To my astonishment, I'm sure to yours,
astonishment.
We've been talking for 14 minutes. I'm not quite sure what about, to be honest.
They're not quite as. They don't have the same flair that the originals had.
Maybe because we're not really taking time to study our topics. I mean, nothing's quite reached the heights of the chocolate crisis.
I think when we're all preoccupied, I would go as far to say this podcast is not all Cameron is focusing on. I think he's looking on his Twitter. He's doing something else. He's preoccupied.
I am actually on Twitter right now. That's quite funny.
Yeah.
But the fact about it is that the topics that I've spoken about, I've been given the most airtime, is clearly a bit like suggesting that you two don't give enough of this.
I don't.
I'm the real money grabber.
What the fuck is he talking about?
No idea.
Talking about the chocolate crisis, I'm talking about Lucky Dip.
Oh,
They come
let's
back
get the
every
hashtag
week.
trending. Fuck you, fat Americans.
Exactly. I am the moneymaker. You are the passenger. So back to the podcast, guys. Sorry about that. Ethan's just getting a bit rowdy as usual. James has got a good little story for us on oranges. So
oranges around. Balls around. The moon is round. Apples around. Grapes are oval.
Sorry, we're saying apples are round, but grapes are oval.
Yeah.
Apples aren't completely round, I would argue.
Yeah, get that.
Well, neither's the moon.
Round.
No, the moon is completely round. Who are you to say the moon is even real?
Oh, for God's sake.
Oranges cause global warming.
So back to the story about oranges. I heard, well, I had some ears to the ground, as you do.
Ears to the ground.
And I was whispered that apparently oranges were originally purple. Someone called them an orange, and then they thought this would work a lot better if they were actually the colour orange, so they painted them orange.
Was that a true story?
Yeah, well, I mean, as much as you can trust a source, you know.
What sauce is it?
Tomato. No, it's Jerry from down the street. He's usually trustworthy.
Oh, is that Crazy Jerry?
No, Crazy Jerry's on holiday. This is Jerry with a G. That was Jerry with a J.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'd just like to touch upon something that was brought to my attention the other day. I saw what I would call a midget in the street. And someone told me, you shouldn't call them midgets. Call them, I believe the correct terminology is little people. And I said, no. I don't see them as little people. We are all people, normal-sized people, and tiny people with miniature limbs and abnormally large heads. Thank you.
Oh, that's the end. Not quite sure what to do with that.
Thank you, Norm MacDonald.
Thank you, Nora MacDonald.
Who the fuck is Nora?
I'm not entirely sure.
No. It's just Norm, not Nora, but
Norm
cheers Norm for that.
Yeah, big shout out to Norm. If we can get Norm trending on Twitter, that'd be great.
Hashtag Norm.
Hashtag Norm the Normie. It's something I've been wanting to discuss for a few weeks now. Why do I always do that? I always set myself up to say something without anything in my head, and then just hope something comes at the time.
Yeah, sorry about this delay in activity, guys, on the podcast.
Well, that was actually a great sidestep to have a look at into my mind and how it works. I like to push the boundaries of thinking on your feet and performing for a crowd, if you will.
If you will, guys.
Speaking of
if you will,
thinking on your feet, Cameron, say something interesting right now. So, as you can see, is a disappointment to not only you listeners at home,
often not speaking
himself.
is the most important statement of all, because it shows.
No one has ever said that, ever.
If you will, though, James, if you will.
I won't.
Oh no.
Suffice to say, though, that, you know,
If you will.
when Hitler rose to power in the early 30s, if you will, who's to say whether it was the Jews, the French, us, the whole world that caused Hitler to do what he did? Thoughts?
Yeah, it was definitely a chain of events.
Chains.
Ethan,
Yes.
it's sunny today. Thoughts?
Weather. Is it controlled? Is it manipulated?
Is it what? Modulated?
Modulated, manipulated, controlled. What are chemtrails? Why are they always in the sky? Why aren't they in the sky sometimes?
So we're actually gonna, Cameron, if you could introduce our sponsor for today's video.
Today's sponsor is Magnum Condoms. Get the real feel.
It sounded very monotone in promoting that product, Cameron.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell us
they
a
know,
bit more.
they know what it does.
No, you gotta sell it.
Oh, today's sponsor is Magnum Condoms. Get the real feel when you're fucking your wife.
Or husband.
Or husband, we don't discriminate. That's why we changed our name from.
We don't discriminate, but we do judge.
Yeah.
Silently.
Stop taking our words back, gays.
If I want to say queer, I'll say queer.
quick.
That's just immature.
Um,
And it's that sort of attitude which stops us being who we really want to be.
yeah.
And fulfilling our destiny as humanoids.
Wow.
Well, I've been likened to a certain MLK.
Oh, the
I
DJ.
mean, not my words, of course.
The DJ.
Yeah. Not MLK, MK.
Come on, guys. He's a real pioneer.
So yeah, I think we're coming to a close of today's episode. We haven't had any featurettes this episode. It's been a bit more of a laid-back conversation style. Let us know what you think. Leave comments in the comments and likes in the likes.
Comments in the comments.
Don't forget to hashtag the hashtags. And
Tweet if you're a fan of mine, think creatively. Leave a comment in the like section.
And leave a like in the comments
AKA,
section.
like the video, like the comments, like yourself, live well, prosper, do it. See you next week.
Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah, guys, keep the trending hashtag Americans are fat.
Beep beep deep skippity bop bop bop
Bop, bop.
skippity beep boop beep
Bop, bop.
bop bop beep 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 beep
Bop, bop.
beep.